Walgreens was the largest drugstore chain in 2015 in the United States. It has more than 8,000 shops, just like Starbucks. People relied so much on Walgreens that from getting a flu shot to buying a birthday gift, everything was available on Walgreens. Coming to the present year, the company is closing hundreds of stores, losing large sums of money, and fighting to remain relevant. Customers are angry. The employees are anxious. Investors are terrified. But what happened? How did a company that has been in business since 1901, survived the Great Depression, and performed admirably during COVID suddenly begin to fail? Let's find out. The competition became a pack of hungry dogs, and Walgreens entered the fray, wielding a butter knife. This was their first major problem. CVS, a longtime competitor of Walgreens, did something clever. They offered more than just shampoo and cough pills. They went full Tony Stark. Aetna is a large health insurance firm that CVS acquired in 2018. Assume your neighborhood pizza shop unexpectedly purchased the water business. Hungry? That's pretty exactly what CVS said. Here's a free drink, but you have to buy our pizza forever. If you are an Aetna member, you have to acquire your medications here. Walgreens, meanwhile, had to stand there and say, "But we have gummy vitamins?" Then CVS went even further, incorporating health hubs or tiny clinics within its stores. Do you need to get a flu shot? Done. Want to take a diabetes test? Simple. Want to speak with a nutritionist? You have it all there. On the other hand, Walgreens continued to say things like, "We have bandages and a photo booth." It's like showing up to a meal with chips when everyone else bought lasagna. But hold on. Amazon has arrived, the ultimate party crasher. They are out here changing the game, but they don't have any shops. Nowadays, when you are in your clothes, binge watching Netflix on the couch when you realize you have run out of allergy medicine. You don't wear pants and drive to Walgreens. Instead, you tap your phone. With changing times, Walgreens attempted to catch up on shipping, but it was like purchasing a weapon for a drone war. Do not forget about Kroger and Walmart. These men are the best at doing multiple tasks simultaneously. When you are at Walmart, buying socks, toilet paper, and a birthday card. Also, do you require a prescription? They have that too. You don't need to drive to two locations when you can accomplish everything in one place. It's as if a convenience store devoured a pharmacy and a grocery store, creating a massive monster. On the other hand, Walgreens can just say, "We have toothpaste and a sad display of Easter candy." Following that, there is an app battle. Like GoodRx and Teladoc, you can talk to a doctor via video chat, acquire a prescription, and search for the finest drugs while still in bed. There are no places to wait. Do not use unclean door handles. There is only you, your phone, and a doctor who is most likely still wearing his clothes. However, the Walgreens app seems to have been created by someone who still uses a flip phone. It took 8 clicks, 2 password changes, and a brief psychological breakdown to refill a medication. It would have taken you less time to walk to CVS, obtain your medicine, and then grab a cappuccino. In the 2000s, many in the United States were addicted to medicines like OxyContin. Doctors gave them out like candy, and stores like Walgreens were glad to keep refilling their shelves. The authorities tried to warn medical authorities about their fake and fishy prescriptions. However, Walgreens ignored that warning. They didn't care about the addictions. They were simply doing their business by selling the medicine that was in demand. In 2022, Walgreens was accused for making the country opium addict. What a mess. Walgreens had to pay more than $5.7 billion to rectify it. This amount of money might cover the cost of a Tesla Model 3 for each person in Los Angeles. You could also buy 38 million PlayStation 5s. When you are in business, losing trust hurts a company's value far more than losing money. People used to think of Walgreens as a nice local pharmacy where they could obtain aspirin and flu vaccines. Now, people look at them with suspicion. When CVS and other competitors were busy opening clinics and updating their apps, while Walgreens was stuck in court with terrible news. Rather than coming up with new ideas, they were busy handling their mess. They did not hire more doctors. Rather, they hired attorneys. Walgreens' next major mistake was waiting too long to enter the digital realm when all of its competitors plunged in headfirst. Back in 2020, when the virus shocked the world, forcing everyone to buy everything online, including food, medicine, doctor appointments, and other necessities. Businesses such as CVS and Amazon were prepared. CVS's app now allows you to easily refill medications with just 3 touches. You can also keep track of your vaccination dates and contact a pharmacist, whereas Amazon just discontinued Amazon Pharmacy and gave you free drugs when you purchased something through Prime. Strange strategy, but it worked fine. However, Walgreens' app looked and felt like it was created when flip phones were prevalent. When I attempted to refill a prescription, it seemed like I was trying to solve a riddle created by a bored robot. You would click refill, submit your information, and then wait for a confirmation email, which never arrived. Eventually, you would give up and drive to the shop. People disliked the app online. One Twitter user said, "Using Walgreens' app is like trying to teach your grandma how to TikTok, frustrating and full of mistakes." Competitors created slick, user-friendly tools, but Walgreens' digital strategy was ancient. Then there was telemedicine. When COVID made visiting the doctor in person unsafe, services such as Teladoc and CVS's Minute Clinic exploded. Before your Netflix binge was over, you could video call a doctor, acquire a prescription, and have it delivered to you. Walgreens? In 2021, a full year into the pandemic, they eventually partnered with a telemedicine service. Most individuals had already gotten addicted to speedier, cheaper apps by that point. It would be like going to a party was at its peak and now you are a misfit. Amazon Pharmacy delivers prescriptions to Prime members for free in 2 days. It didn't seem like a huge deal when CVS introduced drive-through pickup and same-day delivery. Walgreens attempted to keep up but fell over its shoelaces. Their delivery service was as slow as a sloth taking a coffee break, and clients were dissatisfied when their orders arrived late or not at all. One Reddit member wrote, "I ordered allergy medicines from Walgreens in March. In July, they appeared. By then, my sneezes had stopped." What is the best part? In 2020, Walgreens CEO stated that the company's technology was outdated. Rather than spend a lot of money to improve it, they opened more stores, many of which were already half empty. Putting out an app update that made it a little less buggy was similar to releasing an iPhone pager. It's either too late or not enough. Walgreens lost business, particularly among younger customers, to stores that offered better apps and speedier service. Because that is what today's digital world is about, right? Walgreens' next major mistake was placing too much trust in physical stores, such as purchasing 20 umbrellas because they believed it would rain all the time. They had almost 9,000 stores in the United States alone in their heyday. The problem is that if you are everywhere, you are nowhere special. There were towns with 3 Walgreens within 5 miles of each other. The 4th one does not appear to be relevant. They continued to open shops as if they were Pokemon collectors, believing that gotta catch 'em all was a successful business strategy. At the same time, customers were gradually transitioning to online shopping, leaving many stores as empty as a gym in January. It is expensive to run all of those shops. Running a business is expensive: rent, energy, employee salaries, and other expenses. Until 2023, Walgreens spent a lot of money merely to keep the lights on at stores that barely made enough to meet their own expenditures. To save money, they eventually abandoned and announced the closure of nearly 1,000 businesses. But closing shops isn't inexpensive either. It's like paying to end a relationship with someone you shouldn't have dated in the first place, breaking leases, terminating staff, and liquidating stock. There is also the empty aisle effect. When you walk inside some Walgreens locations, it feels like you are in a ghost town. The shelves are only halfway full. The snack aisle contains more dust than a museum. People are quite bored because no one is available to assist. It's not just depressing, but also detrimental to business. People do not like to shop in an area that appears to have been abandoned. However, the real deal is, while Walgreens maintained its chain stores, more astute competitors shifted their strategies. CVS closed many stores, so that they could focus on the profitable ones. Amazon shops were where customers could pick up their online purchases. Walmart has even reduced the number of storefronts to focus more on online shopping. Why not Walgreens? There was a lot of money flowing to shops, but it wasn't being spent to solve problems. As they began to liquidate stores, they were $10 billion in debt and had the unsavory reputation of being that store you only go to when everything else is closed. In the 1990s, when people enjoyed coming to malls and couldn't buy Advil with a thumb tap, having a large number of retailers made sense. But in 2024, you need a strategy that incorporates both real-world locations and internet knowledge. Walgreens overlooked this and didn't adapt with the change that was happening rapidly. Also, do not forget about the workers. Working in stores that are only half filled means that employees are overworked, underpaid, and stressed. This leads to blunders such as incorrectly supplied medications or unfriendly service, which turns off more clients. Less people means less money, which means fewer employees, and as a result, poorer service. Walgreens committed its next major mistake by investing all of its money on in-store clinics. This strategy appeared to be a fine idea on paper, but it flopped miserably. VillageMD, a doctor's office management company, partnered with them in 2021 and pledged to open 600 clinics inside Walgreens stores. So much so that they spent $5.2 billion for a controlling interest in VillageMD. To give you a sense of how large that number is, consider investing your entire life savings on a private jet only to discover that you despise flying. The idea was simple. Make Walgreens a site where you could acquire medications, flu vaccines, and see a doctor. However, things did not go as expected. To begin, clinics cost a lot of money. It's much more expensive to build exam rooms, hire doctors, and buy medical tools than to simply put a sign on a shelf that says, "Cold Medicine Aisle." Walgreens lost money faster than a teen with a Netflix account, and VillageMD clinics had a hard time getting new customers. Because CVS had been running clinics for a long time, like Kleenex or Band-Aid, their Minute Clinic brand was well known. Then there's the matter of trust. People don't just choose their doctor based on how convenient they are. If you have a cough, you might go to any doctor. But when you have major health problems, the doctor in the middle of the sunscreen and snack aisles is not the one you will prefer going to, right? Eventually, Walgreens offices felt like a backup plan. A place to go when your real doctor is booked up for months. Not exactly a way to build loyalty. It couldn't have happened at a worse time either, because Walgreens' clinic push began at the same time that telemedicine took off. With the rise of apps like Teladoc and Amwell, Walgreens' brand new offices look as out of date as fax machines. Walgreens invested $5.2 billion in clinics that did not contribute to their profits in order to pay off debt or repair their failing stores. By 2023, Walgreens was losing money and had to close a lot of centers. Meanwhile, CVS was quietly opening more centers and laughing all the way to the bank. Just a minute, are you enjoying watching Walgreens' downfall? Ha! If yes, and you are learning from their mistakes, then you can give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your simple actions are enough to keep us motivated to bring such researched content for you. Moving back to Walgreens and its mistakes. In the real world, healthcare isn't as simple as Walgreens thought. They thought more services would instantly mean more customers. It's impossible to add a clinic to a drugstore and call it new. People don't want a doctor's office that smells like sunscreen and guilt. They want quality, trust, and ease. You can't have a good time while also having trouble hiring people or having a lot of debt. After the pandemic, everyone had to deal with inflation. Prices for everything went up, from Advil to Band-Aids. Shipping costs went up. Suppliers raised their prices, and even the electricity used to power shop lights went up in price. But Walgreens couldn't charge people more for everything without looking bad. Walgreens had to pay some of those expenditures, which sliced their revenues so thin that they could barely be able to meet their costs. 8 to 12, shoppers may protest and immediately travel to Walmart or Amazon, where they can save money by purchasing in bulk. Then there is getting smaller. There was a lot of shoplifting, and some shops became havens for thieves. Tobacco, deodorant, and washing pods, which are easy to steal, were locked behind plexiglass, which didn't really work in Walgreens' favor. Customers that needed something immediately didn't prefer going to Walgreens because their employees took long to show up as they used to be busy already. In 2022, Walgreens' theft losses were so large that the company declared it unsustainable. Whole aisles were locked up in some stores in places like San Francisco and Chicago, which made for funny memes. One tweet that went viral showed a $4 chapstick that was locked up and said, "Walgreens out here guarding lip smackers like they're the crown jewels." However, locking up goods not only made customers angry, but it also cost Walgreens money. While Walgreens was acting as a security guard, Amazon and Walmart used their massive size to handle price increases caused by inflation without raising prices as much. Walmart even brags about taking budget-conscious shoppers away from competitors, implying that Walmart benefited from Walgreens' pain. In retail, desperate is not a business strategy, it's a death sentence. Customers left Walgreens even faster after they locked up their goods and cut corners. Remember that theft and inflation are like mud, and every move you make worsens the situation. The majority of Walgreens' revenue comes from prescription filling. However, they do not directly set the prices. Instead, health insurance companies and agents known as PBMs do. PBMs are like building guards in the world of drugs. They choose which pharmacies are in-network, which means that your insurance will cover visits to those pharmacies, and they also decide how much each pill will cost. If your PBM is CVS Caremark, they may try to persuade you to go there because the cost is lower. However, if you go to Walgreens instead, your insurance may not cover the medicine at all, or your copay may increase. The store has fewer customers and makes less money from each sale. As more Americans reach retirement age and begin receiving Medicare, Walgreens fills more prescriptions that don't make them much money, which is analogous to selling show tickets. Government insurance programs pay less for prescriptions than private providers. When Walgreens attempted to compete with their own mail service, it was like creating a TikTok account in 2024. Everyone was already enamored with the original users. Mail-order drugs are also a viable option because they are inexpensive, which is why insurance companies prefer them. They will automatically ship your medications every month, so there's no need to drive to Walgreens. Walgreens suffered a $3 billion loss in 2023 as a result of lower payment rates, which would be enough to buy sunscreen for everyone in Miami for a year. PBMs and insurers decide what Walgreens can and cannot do, even if they do everything correctly, such as quickly filling prescriptions and keeping shelves stocked. CVS Caremark refers consumers to CVS Pharmacy, which is similar to a teacher grading their own child's homework. This means Walgreens must work harder to secure bargains and discounts to keep insurance satisfied. At the same time, their profit margins become extremely tiny. Walgreens was there for everyone when the virus hit, with testing sites, medicines, masks, and more. As people rushed to buy hand sanitizer and toilet paper out of fear, they gave out more than 40 million COVID shots and made a lot of money. It appeared that Walgreens would do very well during the pandemic for a short time, but what happens behind the scenes is chaos. Imagine working at Walgreens in 2021. Long lines for vaccines, people yelling about quick tests, and the phone ringing all the time. Already busy pharmacists had to take on the roles of doctor, nurse, and therapist all at once. Can I put Pfizer and Moderna together? Why is my arm hurting? Is this a COVID-related pain or just from texting my ex? The fire was horrible. There were several blunders, such as administering the incorrect dose of a vaccine or missing prescriptions, and many people departed their employment. People started comparing getting a flu vaccination to participating in the Hunger Games. Another example is the fake out for foot action. The first few days of the pandemic, Walgreens stores were filled. As the lockdowns progressed, people discovered that they could obtain their medications without having to visit a filthy shop. Amazon Pharmacy did extremely well. However, not all of the COVID images and tests were as effective as they appeared. Insurance companies reimbursed Walgreens for immunizations, but at extremely cheap rates. Giving someone a shot costs around $40 is not enough to pay the pharmacist's time, let alone the bandages and paperwork. Compared to selling a $40 is barely enough to pay the pharmacist's time, not to mention the bandages and paperwork. That's nowhere near the profit margin for selling a $30 bottle of vitamins. Walgreens has transformed into a nonprofit immunization facility, but without the goodwill. Do you remember when everybody craved vitamin C and Clorox wipes? The Walgreens racks appeared to have been battered by a storm. They had to scramble to replenish, and once they did, prices skyrocketed. People learned to despise the out-of-stock sticker, which became an unofficial indicator for Walgreens. During this time, Walmart and Target leveraged their extensive transportation networks to keep their shelves stocked, allowing them to steal Walgreens' concerned consumers. The worst part is, the epidemic exposed all of Walgreens' weaknesses. Their app wasn't capable of handling immunization schedules. Their shipping business failed due to too much work. Their stores resembled overcrowded storage rooms rather than inviting locations to spend time. While competitors like CVS and Amazon exploited the crisis to experiment with new concepts. CVS attempted drive-thru, Amazon nailed contactless delivery, Walgreens just survived. Not really. The post-pandemic hangover was severe. People who went to large box retailers or online pharmacies never returned. Due to a scarcity of workers, those who remained were overworked. And what about the hero bonuses that Walgreens paid out during COVID? They took all the money that was made, leaving less money to address long-term issues. In that scenario, COVID was a double-edged sword. It helped Walgreens for a brief period, but it also exposed all of its weaknesses, which it had been ignoring for years. Because cramming doesn't change negative behaviors, they become the kid who excels on pop quizzes but struggles on final exams. Because of the outbreak, pharmacies must be swift, adaptable, and technologically advanced, whereas Walgreens demonstrated that they were stuck in 2019. The Walgreens story should teach us a lesson. You cannot rely solely on prior business success. Always adapt, ask people what they want, and come up with new concepts. If not, you'll end up like Blockbuster or that sad, empty Walgreens down the block. Do you think Walgreens will make a comeback? Share your views in the comment section below. If you want us to cover any particular topic, mention that in the comment section and we will take it from there. Till then, you can check out some amazing business stories on our channel. If you enjoyed watching the video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you soon in next video.